Good morning, folks. A few videos ago I remember saying I'm going to take you to the Bonsai Cliff, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to the Bonsai Cliff. The Bonsai Cliff is where I got this Western larch a few years ago, and we'll see what I get today. So DK, I still haven't fixed my windshield, but I've thought about it, and I think it's going to happen soon. And I still have that slow leak in my rear driver's side tire. Need to get that fixed too. Getting close. There it is, folks, the Bonsai Cliff. Look at all those stunted trees up there. Let's get up there. So I was really excited to find this place. I still remember driving around the corner and looking up and seeing all those stunted trees on the top of this cliff. And I remember walking through here. You kind of go through these bigger trees and then getting to the top here and just seeing hundreds of stunted trees. A lot of them are grand fir, some Douglas fir, and I was looking for larch specifically. Here's a larch, and was really excited to find some larch. But yeah, there's hundreds of them here. And they're all stunted for growing in this really rocky substrate. It's a beautiful morning. Western white pine. Here's the ponderosa pine, not too interesting, but also a species found here. Check out this larch. Here's another stunted larch. You also see a lot of dead trees up here that are just barely hanging on and didn't make it. I really like this larch, but I don't want to kill it, so I haven't collected it yet. So maybe someday, I don't know. I'm too late for larch. I don't want to collect the larch when they're already out. But maybe someday. A little tiny western white pine. Here's a little grand fir growing on the edge of the cliff, which is eroding. This is a neat one, but it's toast. Actually has a little bit of live right there. The top's all dead. So I've wandered around the cliff for quite a while looking at trees, and I really love the larches. And the one that I'm really into right now, I mean, I like all of them, is this one. Actually, it's pretty small, but it has a really nice trunk line. It will make a really nice literati. But I am only 25% success rate for collecting larch at the Bonsai Cliff. And one of those collections I did collect with the larch already leafed out. So I'm not going to collect this tree today, but I'm going to remember it, and maybe I'll get it next year or in some other year. So I really like this tree. but I do have a 100% success rate. So I've only collected one success rate with grand fir, and I really like this tree right here. That one tree that I collected though, it has a fatal flaw, and that was a really severe reverse taper at the bottom of the trunk, and the bark was just falling off of the bottom, so I donated it to the kids' fairy garden. But this one I dug down quite a bit. It has a really nice base actually, and I love the movement. So I think I might collect this tree. I'm only going to collect one, maybe I'll do two. Legally I can collect like 5, but I try not to be greedy. It's a good time to collect the firs too, the grand fir and the Doug fir, I think, because they haven't budded out yet, it looks like. Alright, so I'll head back to the Jeep and get some digging supplies. So I encourage you, if you are going to collect legally. Here I'm on National Forest land, and I can legally collect in this forest 5 trees that are less than 2 feet tall, 2 trees that are 2 to 4 feet tall, or 1 tree that's 4 to 8 feet tall. I can't collect trees that are more than 8 feet tall. I can't collect Western Red Cedar or Pacific Yew. And there's no permit required, but it's for personal use only. I can't sell these trees. And I know these rules vary by national forest. So for instance, I'm pretty sure if you're in a national forest in Oregon or Washington, for instance, you'll probably have to pay a modest price for a collection permit. And there's probably species restrictions as well. Also, I think it's worth just, collecting at the right time of year and just making your best effort not to kill a tree. And I think the older the tree, the more careful you should be, and learn from your mistakes. Like I've learned, don't collect larch when they are in leaf. So I won't be doing that ever again. All right, so change of plan. I was about to start digging, and then I looked over and was looking at this Douglas fir, and I noticed a nice fat trunk on it and the nice tight curve. And I guess I didn't mention this, but when I came here I was kind of looking for a small tree. I didn't want something big, and I haven't tried Douglas fir, so I'm gonna excavate around this tree and see what I can do. But right now you can't see it from this camera, but I can see a really neat tiny tree in this tree right here. And I'll probably eventually kill off one side of it. But again, I'm counting my eggs before they hatch. First I have to collect it successfully. I haven't tried to collect a Douglas fir up here yet, so I'm kind of curious. And another reason I like this tree is the buds are fat, and just like my tree at home, this one's green, it's about to open. I think it's a really good time to collect. This tree is healthy. And part of me, I don't mind collecting unhealthy trees up here because the death rate is pretty high for these trees. I've been coming up here for a while now, and every year I come, there's more dead trees. So I don't actually mind collecting the unhealthy ones. But this one, if I can get a good wiggle on it, I think it has a good chance of survival because it's quite healthy. And it's got a really nice curve on that trunk. Maybe I'll keep it as a crazy weird tree with like kind of 2 apexes, but I don't think so. I think eventually I'd kill one of them off. But obviously before I do any styling on this, I'm going to collect it and just let it survive. Another option I've thought about here, since I can come here so frequently, it's about an hour drive from my house, is maybe preparing the trees for collection. Coming here and putting in some soil, around the tree to encourage fine roots. I have a big shovel, but this seems to be working pretty well. Alright, I've been working away, so I'll show you my progress. I've gotten quite deep. I'm kind of starting to go underneath the roots now. And it's looking good. I can see quite a few fine roots. So I think it's going to work. Alright, digging continues. Alright, there we go. I'm going to run this to the creek and soak the roots. Actually, I'm going to stick them in my sphagnum moss mixture. So here it is. I put the roots in sphagnum moss and wet sphagnum moss in this bag. And here's the trunk that I liked. And I'm happy with the amount of roots I got on the tree. It's similar in proportion to my other Douglas fir that I collected a few years ago that I just potted up. Also, off camera, because I'm kind of running out of battery here, I went for the grand fir. And here it is. There's the grand fir. And similar story, I'm happy with the amount of roots I got on it. And I like the trunk line of this one. It's quite nice. It doesn't have that fatal flaw. Has some slight reverse taper, as does the Douglas fir over there. I think that might just be a characteristic of a lot of the trees that grow through these rocks. But it's very slight, and the movement is quite nice. I mean, it's basically already a bonsai. And yeah, this is similar to the amount of roots I got on my last one that survived. So I have high hopes that this one will also survive. I could definitely fit this root ball in a pretty small pot. And you don't want to like over pot it like crazy. You want to just put it in an appropriate sized pot that isn't too huge, that basically the roots will just barely fit into, so that the root ball can, dry out and not stay wet all the time. Same principle as how you don't want to like over pot things too much. Alright, so now I'm gonna put that back in the sphagnum moss in the shade there. And now I'm gonna fill in my holes. It's the Douglas fir hole, it's pretty gigantic. And the strange thing is I can't see where my other holes were from previous collections. Here's where the grand fir was. So I'll fill those in now. So I'm packed up, ready to go. Have to leave, don't really want to. Alright, gotta get going. And yeah, I might pot up that grand fir right here. I brought a few pots. We'll see if I can fit it in any one of them. So I potted it up, complete with some bonsai cliff rocks with lichen on them and moss. And I watered it with a little stream nearby. I think it looks pretty great. It's pretty much already styled. And yeah, I think it'll recover well, if it recovers like the last grand fir I collected from here. Alright, I gotta get going. So it's a couple mornings later, and I thought I'd give you a final spin of the trees. Here's the grand fir. I'm gonna keep this in morning sun and afternoon shade, probably for the rest of this growing season. And here's the Douglas fir. So originally I thought I would either kill off this side or this side after the trees are covered and just gin it. But then studying the tree afterwards when I was potting it, I realized, this is making a nice semi-cascade. So I think I will actually keep both sides and create a semi-cascade with this one. And last, I also collected this small Rocky Mountain maple or Douglas maple, Acer glabrum. And right after collection, the leaves had drooped quite a bit, but the next morning they'd perk back up, so I'm hoping that this will do well and is growing new roots. And this is a species I'd like to explore a little bit for bonsai. I might try and collect a larger plant next spring, because I think that this species could make good bonsai. So one final parting shot of the benches for some updates. Here's the hornbeam. It's in leaf now. Yorihime continues to impress. I've got little flower buds on my cotoneasters. Pretty excited about that. The quince is still going. And the dwarf Alberta spruce is leafed out. It's looking very healthy. Katsura is starting to change into its summer colors. Here's the gamble oak. My ginkgo's leafed out, including Bonsai Fest ginkgo. It's looking good. Much different colors. I styled this little guy off camera. I'm really loving it. And the potentilla's doing well, putting on more new leaves. Here's the Japanese maple, growing like crazy. Amber maple. Yew, still here, still going, lots of new growth. My white pine, candle's getting pretty big. And, you know, the bristlecone, I don't think it's dead. I think it's far from dead. There's new buds and they continue to swell. This one's starting to look like a candle. And here's a Seiju elm. Looking really good. Dwarf birch. Let's put on a lot of growth. Alright, until next time, happy bonsaiing.